Parachute Advance बेस्ट रोज्नेहरूका लागि Parachute Advance मेरो लागि बेस्ट
एसोसिएट स्पोन्सर एभरेस्ट बैंक दिगो दरिलो र विश्वासिलो पेप्सोडेन्ट एउटा मुस्कानले सबै बदलिन्छ
नमस्कार गुड मर्निङ दिस मर्निङ लाइभमा हार्दिक स्वागत गर्न चाहन्छु आज जनवरी 23 यानी कि माघ महिनाको 10 गते आज बिहीबारको दिनमा समीर अनि म सृजना प्रोग्राम लिएर उपस्थित भएका छौं भने समीर गुड मर्निङ नमस्कार हाउ आर यु
आई एम गुड सृजना तिमीले आज पहिलो एकदम आज उज्यालो तिमीले एकदम एक्चुअली समरी भाइब्समा है स्प्रिङ भाइब्समा हिजो वेदर काठमाडौँ वेदर हेर्ने भने त त्यो तिम्रो मिल्छ पनि काठमाडौँ हिजो तापक्रम याद गर्यो
गरे नि
24 डिग्रीज इन काठमाडौँ हिजो है देशभरि नै हिजो गर्मी यहाँ तराई भएको तराईमा त अहिले पनि शीतलहर चल्ला छ भने हिजो पहाडी भेगमा 24 डिग्रीसम्म पुग्यो काठमाडौँ हकमा जुन चाहिँ औसत भनेको 19 देखि 20 हो है सो तर दर्शकलाई फेरि पनि नमस्कार गर्न चाह्यौँ हामी आज वेलकम थर्सडे
हजुर
अनि के छ
र प्रोग्राममा विविध कुराहरू छन् आज सनराइज 6:54 भयो सनसेट भरे 5:37 हुँदैछ र यो सँगसँगै बढ्दै गएको कुरा के छ भन्नुहुन्छ भने प्रदूषण हैन र क्लाइमेट चेन्जले लिएर आएको यो खाली चेन्जेस त सधैँ छ त्यसमाथि पनि अब अहिले हिउँदे वर्षाको विषयमा कुराकानी हामीले सोचिरहेको बेला अब यसपालि हिउँदे वर्षा हुँदैन भन्ने कुरा आइसकेपछि झनै पनि प्रदूषण चाहिँ अलि बढेको जस्तो पनि लाग्छ डढेलो अझै पनि बढ्ता हुन्छ कि जस्तो पनि लाग्छ हैन सो अलिकति केयरफुल हुनुपर्ने चाहिँ जरुरी छ
जरुरी छ र प्रदूषणको कुरा गर्नुपर्दा सिजन अहिले हाम्रो काठमाडौँ महानगरपालिकाले अहिले गाडीहरुमा प्रदूषण जाँच एकदम तीव्र गरेको छ र 78% अनुतीर्ण भइसक्नुको अहिलेको अवस्थामा र म एउटा कुरा भन्न चाहन्छु सिजन अहिले यही कुरा निक्ल्यो भन्दाखेरि मैले गरेको त एकदम राम्रो कुरा हो स्कुलका बसहरुसम्म त्यो पहिलो रङका स्कुलका बसहरुसम्म यत्रो कालो धुवा फालेर हिडेको आजको दिन पनि देखिरहेको छु मैले भनेपछि गरोस् पहल राम्रो तर पुगेको छैन त्यहाँ हरेक बसले त्यो डिजलको धुवा फालेको हिजो आज पनि देखिरहेको छु अझ कडाई चाहिँ गर्नै पर्यो भन्न चाहे
सो अब यो एयर पल्युसन नाप्नको लागि भनेर हामी आफैले इन्डिभिजुअल रूपमा हामीले यातायात व्यवस्था विभागमा जानुपर्छ हैन सो एयर पल्युसन हामीले त्यहाँनिर आफ्नो सवारी साधनको नाप्छौं र त्यो मेसिनले नाप्ने छँदैछ अब हामीले आँखाले अनि हामीले फिल गर्ने पनि छँदैछ भनेपछि इन्डिभिजुअल रूपमा आफैले पनि जिम्मेवारी लिनुपर्ने होइन र भन्ने चाहिँ मेरो प्रश्न हो हेर नाप्न त परिहाल्यो गभर्नमेन्ट लेभलबाट गर्ने कामहरु त गरि नै रहनु भएको छ भने व्यक्तिगत रूपमा पनि त आफूले जिम्मेवारी लिनु पर्यो नि हामीले क्लाइमेट चेन्जको विषयमा यति धेरै कुराकानी गर्छौं यसले यति धेरै सफर भयो भनेर कुराकानी गर्छौं भने आफूले यो त्यसको उत्तरदायित्व लिनु पर्दैन
त्यति मात्र हैन यातायात महासंघले के गरेछ यातायात महासंघले खाली अब हामीले चुप लागेर बस्छौं ल अरूले गर्यो वातावरण विभागले गर्छ भन्ने हो कि विद्यालयहरुले पनि हाम्रो बस ठिकै छ जब समातिन्छ भन्ने हो कि आफै तिनीहरु आफै लाग्नु पर्दैन र अहिले काठमाडौँको अथवा शहरहरुमा तापक्रम किन बढिरहेछ भने यस्तो धुवाले गर्दा पनि भइरहेछ त्यसले गर्दाखेरि यो सिचालले भने जस्तै इन्डिभिजुअल रूपमा पनि गर्नु पर्यो अर्गनाइजेसन रूपमा पनि गर्नु पर्यो खाली सरकारले गर्ला भनेर भन्ने हैन त्यो कार्सिनोजेन त्यो धुवाबाट निक्ल्यो कार्सिनोजेनले त तिमीलाई पनि छुन्छ मलाई पनि छुन्छ विद्यार्थीलाई पनि छुन्छ जसलाई पनि छुन्छ भोलि क्यान्सर भन्ने जिम्मेवारी कसको सरकारलाई मात्रै हेरेर बस्ने हो
सरकार त एउटाबाट त जुन किसिमको नीति नियम लिएर आउनु पर्ने हो त्यो नीति नियम लिएर आएको छँदैछ फेरि पनि एकचोटि फोकस गर्न चाहे हैन तपाईको व्यापार व्यवसायमा कुनै पनि सवारी साधन प्रयोग भइरहेको छ भने त्यसले त्यसको त्यो के रे हावा प्रदूषण धुवा प्रदूषण त्यो चाहिँ कसरी फालिरहेछ हैन त्यो अप टु द स्ट्यान्डर्ड छ कि छैन भन्ने हेर्ने जिम्मेवारी तपाईको पनि हो जोले गाडी चलाउँछ त्यो सबैको जिम्मेवारी हो भन्ने कुरा चाहिँ बुझ्नु पर्छ र भनि नै हाले यसमा प्राप्त विभिन्न किसिमको नकारात्मक ग्यासहरुले गर्दाखेरि क्यान्सरसम्म हुन सक्ने सम्भावना छ त्यसलाई अब मेरो गाडी हो मेरो गाडीले पछाडी धुवा फालिरहेछ पछाडीको मान्छेलाई मात्र छुन्छ भनेर भन्नुहुन्छ भने तपाई गलत हुनुहुन्छ हैन सो त्यसकारणले गर्दाखेरि आफूले व्यक्तिगत रूपमा चाहिँ जिम्मेवारी लिन सिकाऊ भनेर भन्छु म चाहिँ
र आजदेखि नै हामी तपाई ध्यान दिनुस् र सिजन अब नेपाल सरकारलाई अनुरोध छ एकदम पहल राम्रो छ वातावरण विभाग तथा ट्राफिक प्रहरीलाई धेरै धेरै धन्यवाद सुरु गरेकोमा तर पुगेको छैन यसलाई एकदमै तीव्र बनाऊ र कारबाही कडा होस् भन्न चाहन्छु कि अब त्यो 100-200 रुपैयाँ गर्नु भनेको त हात यसो हिर्का जस्तै हो कि हानु न 5000 को जरिवाना हानु 10000 को जरिवाना हानु अनि 1 महिनाभित्रमा प्रदूषण एकदम न्यून भएन भने भोलि म नै यसलाई जिम्मेवारी लिन तयार छु। त्यसले गर्दाखेरि कडा गर्नु फाइन भन्ने कुरा चाहिन्छ। फाइन संसारभरि नै फाइनले धेरै राम्रो काम गर्छ, जरिवानाले
होइन हाम्रो देशमा पनि त राम्रै काम गरेछ। मापासीको विषयमा कति राम्रो काम गर्यो हैन र हो। अब हाम्रो कल्चर अनुसार हाम्रो रीतिरिवाज अनुसार सर्टन स्ट्यान्डर्ड चाहिँ हुनुपर्ने हो, सर्टन एमएल चाहिँ खाना दिनुपर्ने। त्यो पनि किन गरिएन त भन्दाखेरि अलिकति खाना दिएपछि अझ बढ्दै हुन्छ भनेर नियम कानुन कडा गरिसकेपछि कसरी एकदमै स्ट्रिमलाइन भएन त भनेपछि हामीलाई अलिकति कडा कारबाही नै चाहिँदो रहेछ भन्ने कुरा चाहिँ यसले बुझाउँछ। फेरि
खुट्टा कमाउन भने राज्यले खुट्टा कमाउनु पर्यो, तर नियमहरू छैन भने बनाउनु पर्यो होइन, पोलिसीहरू छैन भने बनाउनु पर्यो, गाइडलाइन छैन भने बनाउनु पर्यो। तर बटम लाइन चाहिँ के भन्दाखेरि त्यो गरे हुनाले त्यो नियम मानेको हुनाले तिम्रो हाम्रो ज्यानको रक्षा हुन्छ, तिम्रो भावी सन्ततिलाई पनि फाइदा हुन्छ। हामी त हाम्रो मात्र कुरा गर्छ, भोलि भावी सन्तति कस्तो ठाउँमा बस्ने, कस्तो समाज।
एउटा कुरा थाहा छ तिमीलाई, हामीले यो कुरा गर्दै गर्दाखेरि फेरि होइन यो प्रदूषण भनेको कुरा चाहिँ नेपालले गर्यो नेपाललाई मात्रै लागू हुने होइन नि त, बाहिर अरू कन्ट्रीको पनि लागू हुन्छ होइन। अस्ति मैले एउटा रिपोर्ट पढ्दैछ होइन, अमेरिकामा सबैभन्दा बढ्दो प्रदूषण चाहिँ उत्पादन हुने रहेछ होइन,
अमेरिका चाइना
होइन। भनेपछि त्यो भेगमा त्यो ठाउँमा त्यो नेसनले के काम गरिरहेछ र तिनीहरूलाई हामीले कसरी दण्ड सजाय दिने भन्ने बारेमा पनि थाहा हुनु जरुरी भयो क्या। अब हामीले कोप 98 कति वडेभर 28 98 वडेभर हामी चलाउँछौँ होइन, सभा सम्मेलन गोष्ठी गर्छौँ हामीले। तर त्यसको बाई प्रडक्ट के हो त भन्दाखेरि फाइन गर्ने भनेर हामीले पैसा चाहिँ उनीहरूले दिनुपर्छ भन्ने मात्रै कुरा गर्छन्। त्यो पैसाले हुँदो हो त, पैसा खाएर बाँच्न सक्दो हो त हामी सबैजना अर्कै हुन्थ्यो होला आज आएर
हुन्थ्यो। र यो अब अमेरिकामा अब प्रेसिडेन्ट ट्रम्पले अब त्यो के अरे प्यारिस डिक्लेरेसन फिर्ता हाल्नुभयो, त्यो भनेको एकदम डरलाग्दो कुरो हो। त्यसले संसारमा यत्रो प्रदूषण भएको बेलामा जलवायु परिवर्तनको अवस्थामा चाहिँ नि परिप्रेक्ष्यमा चाहिँ नि त्यो गर्नु भनेको डरलाग्दो कुरा र गैर जिम्मेवारी भन्छु म चाहिँ नि होइन। तर त्यो ग्लोबल स्केल हो, त्यसले भनेको ग्लोबल स्केल हो। तर हामीले हाम्रो घर परिवारबाट हाम्रै समाजबाट सुरु त गर्न सक्छौँ नि, र नेपालले भन्न सक्छ नि हामीले त यो गरिरहेको छौँ, अब तपाईँहरू गरेर देखाउनु भन्ने एउटा बाटो त भयो नि त। कमसे सुरुवात हामीबाट त गऱ्यो भने उदाहरण बन्न खोज्यो भन्नु खोजेको कि मैले नि
हो। सुरुवात त अवश्य पनि हामी एकजनाबाट हुन्छ होइन, तर यसको इम्प्याक्ट चाहिँ सबैलाई पर्नुपर्छ र पर्छ पनि। र राम्रो काम गरे पनि सबैलाई इम्प्याक्ट पर्ने भयो, नराम्रो काम गरे पनि पर्ने भयो भनेपछि दण्ड सजायको विषयमा चाहिँ इन्टरनेसनल रूपमा नि छलफल हुनुपर्ने जस्तो लाग्छ मलाई चाहिँ।
र सुन अब यो कुरा गर्दै गर्छौँ हामीहरू आज हामीसँग अति पनि हुनुहुन्छ। अतिको बारेमा भन्नुपर्दा उहाँ चाहिँ आइपास का प्रेसिडेन्ट, आइपास जानेका आइएनजिओ ठुलो आइएनजिओ प्रजनन महिला प्रजनन हक हितमा काम गर्छ र अन्य काम पनि गर्छ उसले। त्यसको प्रेसिडेन्ट र सिइओ डाक्टर अनु कुमार आज हामीसँग जोइन गर्दै हुनुहुन्छ। हामी उहाँलाई लिएर आउँछौँ अहिले ब्रेकपछि। अहिले छोटो ब्रेक चाहिँ गइहालौँ।
डाक्टर अनु कुमार प्रजनन अधिकारका क्षेत्रमा
तपाईको फेभरेट सनसिल्क स्याम्पू अब भयो अझै राम्रो। यसमा छ भाइटामिन्स, ओइल्स अनि प्रोटिनको एक्टिभ मिक्स जसले दिन्छ तपाईलाई शाइनी, घना अनि सुन्दर कपाल। सुपर कपाल हरेक बार नयाँ सनसिल्क एक्टिभ मिक्सको साथ। अब सनसिल्क कन्डिसनरमा पनि उपलब्ध छ।
हिजो गरेको जोहोले आजको जीवन सुखद हुन्छ। थोरै नै किन नहोस् बचत गर्ने बानी बसालौँ। एभरेस्ट ब्याङ्क, दिगो, दरिलो र विश्वासिलो। थोपा थोपा पानीले विशाल सागर बन्छ। थोरै नै किन नहोस् बचत गर्ने बानी बसालौँ। एभरेस्ट ब्याङ्क, दिगो, दरिलो र विश्वासिलो।
प्रस्तुत छ प्याराशुट एडभान्स्ड बेबी रेन्ज जसमा छ भर्जिन कोकोनट ओइल। यसले शिशुको कोमल स्किनलाई सफा गरी पोषण दिन्छ। प्याराशुट एडभान्स्ड बेबी, तपाईको बेबीको ग्रोथ पार्टनर।
कसैले मुस्कुराएर हेर्नुपर्छ माया नै बसे जस्तो ठान्छौँ। कसैको पहिरन देख्न साथ यस्तो र उस्तो भन्न थाल्छौँ। विदेश भन्न साथ पैसाको बोट जस्तो, सस्तो पाउन साथ केही न केही खोट जस्तो। हामीलाई धारणा बनाउन त कसले पो रोक्छ र। यसै गरी हाम्रो बारेमा पनि यहाँहरूले केही धारणा बनाउँदै हुनुहुन्छ वा बनाइसक्नु भएको छ भने पनि कृपया पहिला हामी कहाँ आउनुहोस्, जहाँ छ अत्याधुनिक ब्याङ्किङ, जहाँ छन् युवा जनशक्ति जो आफैमा सबल र सफल ब्याङ्क हो र जसको पहुँच सुगमदेखि दुर्गमसम्म छ। त्यसपछि सेवा सुविधाबारे थाहा पाउनुहोस् अनि बल्ल धारणा बनाउनुहोस्। राष्ट्रिय वाणिज्य ब्याङ्क, तपाईको आफ्नै ब्याङ्क। आफ्नो भनेको आफ्नै हुन्छ।
नयाँ प्याराशुट नेचुरली स्याम्पूलाई मेरो कपालले भन्छ यस। यसको प्राकृतिक गुणहरूले कपाललाई राख्छ प्राकृतिक रूपमा सिल्की र बलियो। प्याराशुट नेचुरली स्याम्पू, केमिकललाई भनौँ नो, नेचुरलीलाई भनौँ यस।
ट्राई गर्नुहोस् नयाँ एन्टी ड्यान्ड्रफ स्याम्पू, चायाबाट 100% सुरक्षाका लागि।
पाइला सपनाको भरोसाले हिँड्छ। कठिन भए नि आफ्नो सपना आफ्नै हुन्छ। कथा साहसको आँट कोरिदिन्छ, व्यथाको कथा पनि आफ्नै हुन्छ। आफ्नै सुन्ने, आफैलाई खोज्ने नयाँ युगमा पनि आफ्नो भनेको आफ्नै हुन्छ। राष्ट्रिय वाणिज्य ब्याङ्क, सम्पूर्ण डिजिटल कारोबारका लागि डिजिटल संसार।
दिस मर्निङ लाइभ ब्रट टु यु बाई
प्याराशुट एडभान्स, बेस्ट रोज्नेहरूका लागि। प्याराशुट एडभान्स, मेरो लागि बेस्ट।
एसोसिएट स्पोन्सर
एभरेस्ट ब्याङ्क, दिगो, दरिलो र विश्वासिलो।
पेप्सोडेन्ट, एउटा मुस्कानले सबै बदलिन्छ।
दिस मर्निङ लाइभमा फेरि एकचोटि हार्दिक स्वागत गर्न चाहन्छु। यो प्रोग्राम अघि 6:30 बजेदेखि नै यहाँले हेरिरहनु भएको थियो भने सेकेन्ड हाफमा समीर अनि म थिएँ र छु र हाम्रो गेस्ट पनि हामीसँग आइसक्नु भएको छ।
गेस्टलाई तपाईँ देखिरहनु भएको छैन किन हामीले गेस्टलाई प्रकट गराएका छैनौँ, तर उहाँको बारेमा हामीले तयार पारेको एउटा सानो भिडियो छ। त्यो भिडियो हेरौँ, त्यसपछि गेस्टलाई हामीहरू तपाईँहरूको सामु ल्याउनेछौँ। अहिलेलाई एउटा सानो इन्ट्रोडक्टरी भिडियो।
डाक्टर अनु कुमार प्रजनन अधिकारका क्षेत्रमा स्थापित नाम हो। उहाँ अन्तर्राष्ट्रिय प्रजनन अधिकार संगठन आइपासको अध्यक्ष तथा प्रमुख कार्यकारी समेत हुनुहुन्छ। डाक्टर कुमार अन्तर्राष्ट्रिय रूपमा महिला अधिकारको वकालतकर्ता र विश्वव्यापी स्वास्थ्यमा थिङ्क ट्याङ्कका रूपमा परिचित हुनुहुन्छ। जनस्वास्थ्य र मानवशास्त्रमा स्नातकोत्तरसम्मको अध्ययन गर्नुभएकी डाक्टर कुमारले नर्थ क्यारोलिना विश्वविद्यालयबाट मेडिकल एन्थ्रोपोलोजीमा पिएचडी गर्नुभएको छ। विश्व स्वास्थ्य संगठनको प्रजनन स्वास्थ्य अनुसन्धान विभागमा काम गरेको अनुभव सँगालिसक्नु भएकी उहाँले म्याथ आर्थर फाउन्डेसनमा यसै विषयमा केन्द्रित रहेर 7 वर्ष काम गर्नुभएको छ। उहाँकै कारण इथियोपियादेखि मेक्सिको हुँदै नेपालसम्म करोडौं मानिसहरूले सुरक्षित गर्भपतन सेवामा पहुँच कायम गर्न सक्षम भएका छन्। तिनै डाक्टर अनु कुमार हाम्रो अतिथि हुनुहुन्छ।
हजुर, हाम्रो गेस्टलाई हामी स्वागत गरौँ।
Namaste.
Good morning.
Thank you very much.
So how are you today?
Doing well, thank you. Very, very happy to be in Kathmandu.
And what brings you to Nepal?
You know, I've been coming to Nepal for many years now, and I really I enjoy seeing the progress that the country has made. So it's very exciting to see the work that IPAS is doing here and to reconnect with that work.
Right. Just if I may start. So IPAS, we are familiar with IPAS Nepal. It's an INGO is in different countries, and Nepal also is doing a lot of good work. We know that. But since you are here, can you explain to us, like in a very brief, what is the main, the vision of IPAS, generally speaking?
Definitely. So IPAS is a 50-year-old organization, actually. And we've been working all of that time on improving access to abortion and contraception care. And it's for two main reasons. One, abortion is health care. And when it's done badly, women die and suffer. And they don't have to. So it's quite simple. And the second reason is that abortion is really a critical aspect of bodily autonomy. In order for women and girls to be able to achieve their life's goals, they need to be able to control their bodies. It's quite simple. So this is our vision. Our vision is a world where people can make their own reproductive decisions, where they can live fulfilling lives of their own choosing. And we do our work in partnership with many others. So as you mentioned, we are active in different countries now. So we're active in 20 countries, including the United States. So it's not only in low and middle income countries, but it is in low and middle income countries where women are suffering and dying more. So hence our focus is more in those locations. And we have a very broad view of our work. We're working with health systems, so government partners especially are very important to us. We're working on regulatory environment and the policy environment. And then finally, ultimately, we want to be able to change and work to adapt social norms to changing times. And so we're working with community level partners as well.
How challenging it is right now?
It is
in today's context.
Yes,
right?
well, I mean, it's always challenging, to be honest. I've been doing this work for a very long time, and I don't think I've ever felt that, oh, this is easy. Nothing to do today, So there's always something, there's always issues and challenges to deal with. But you're right to point out that this is an especially difficult and challenging time. We're entering a new administration in the United States, and it is an administration that is hostile to our mission and to our work. And not only are they passively hostile, but they are actively working to undermine reproductive rights and reproductive justice. And those that have been opposed to these rights are now in positions of power. And I think this is the really key difference that we see with this administration than previous times in the United States. The U.S. has had this difficult relationship with abortion access and reproductive rights in general. But now the people that have been opposed to those rights are in power and in high levels of position and power. So, yes, this is an especially challenging time.
So what's your plan? How are you going to, let me rephrase. Because Ipas obviously also relies on funding from different sources, including the U.S. government agencies, right? With the new administration that has come in, it's going to be a challenge, as you already mentioned, that there will be funding crunches also, or funding challenges also. How will you manage and how will you navigate through that, especially since you also have to fund different country organizations for the work you do?
So let me just clarify. Ipas does not receive U.S. government funding.
Oh, it doesn't?
No, and we have never received U.S. government funding, nor are we part of any partnerships that receive it. So the challenge, though, so that's good news in terms of the funding.
Right.
It's bad news in terms of the work.
Of course.
Because there are so many partners that are necessary in order to really advance this agenda. We're a small, modest organization in the comparison to the need.
Correct.
So we absolutely need partners to be active in this area. So yeah, so how are we going to navigate? Well, one of the things that we're looking at is how can we support our other governmental donors to be very strong and take a more active role right now, including the government of Nepal. Nepal has a progressive law. It has been very active and I would say a leader in reproductive rights and reproductive justice globally, and it will be tested now. And so the question is, how will Nepal respond to that test? Will the Nepali government stand up and say, no, this is what we believe. This is in our constitution. This is how we have advanced our vision for our country, regardless of what the U.S. government may do or say. And I think that will be tough. And then there are other countries as well that we are encouraging to stand up and take support. And of course, a wide array of partners.
We will continue this conversation. We'll have to take a short break, but we will come back. हामी एक छोटो ब्रेक लिएर फेरि हाम्रो अतिथिलाई लिएर हामी आउनेछौँ.
प्रस्तुत छ प्याराशुट एडभान्स्ड बेबी रेन्ज, जसमा छ भर्जिन कोकोनट ओइल. यसले शिशुको कोमल स्किनलाई सफा गरी पोषण दिन्छ. प्याराशुट एडभान्स्ड बेबी, तपाईको बेबीको ग्रोथ पार्टनर.
सकेपछि तपाईँ बोल्नुस् न।
This Morning Live, brought to you by
Parachute Advanced, best रोज्नेहरूका लागि। Parachute Advanced, मेरो लागि best।
Associate Sponsor
एभरेस्ट ब्याङ्क, दिगो, दरिलो र विश्वासिलो।
पेप्सोडेन्ट, एउटा मुस्कानले सबै बदलिन्छ।
दिस मर्निङ लाइभमा फेरि छिटो हार्दिक स्वागत गर्न चाहन्छौँ। हामी कुराकानी गरिरहेका छौँ डाक्टर अनु कुमारसँग र उहाँसँग कुराकानी गर्ने क्रममा प्रश्न तिम्रो मेरो
जल्दी गरे हुन्छ
I have heard about this sustainable abortion ecosystem. Could you please explain what is it all about?
Yes, I'd be happy to. So one of the things about abortion care is that it doesn't happen in a vacuum. And you know, really no health service does. So when you think about what the needs of people actually are who are seeking abortion care, you have to think about the entire ecosystem that surrounds that care. And so we as Ipas have been thinking about what does it mean to have sustainable abortion care, not just when Ipas is there, but when Ipas is not there, and when circumstances change. So we specifically defined what we mean by sustainability, and we identified 8 components that make up sustainable abortion care. And so we created the ecosystem framework, but as importantly, we created tools to go along with the framework, and we facilitate a dialogue with stakeholders on what does it mean to have sustainable abortion care, where are we now in that abortion, in that ecosystem. So, for example, if we were to do a sustainable abortion ecosystem assessment for Nepal, we would say that the Nepali law is actually quite positive. So there's no reason to focus on that. However, we also know from data that knowledge of the law by Nepali people is low. More than half of Nepalis are actually unaware of this law. So we need to then focus our attention on how do we increase awareness, how do we make sure that people know where to go for abortion care, for safe abortion care. So this ecosystem approach allows us to think about what's necessary and what needs to be done now, and then keep changing because the needs change.
Yeah. Of course.
You know, so it allows us, and then it also allows us to have a conversation with multiple stakeholders. Everyone has their own special skills. So we may be good at one thing, another organization may be good at another thing. And so we use it for partnership purposes as well.
And how do you work with the local, you mentioned local stakeholders, for example, the community groups and the local NGOs working at the grassroots level, and also the UN groups, like for example, the UNFPA and the other organizations. How do you liaise with them to do what you do? And also government, obviously.
Also government, very important partner. So one of the really, I think, amazing things about the work that Ipas does is our ability to work from all the way from the community level to the global level. So, for example, working with UNFPA, working with the World Health Organization, for example, our staff have provided technical advice and are participating in WHO processes, helping WHO to devise guidelines, to use the latest scientific information. And then we'll work at the national level with governments, but with national NGOs as well, who are very important partners, all the way down, in the case of Nepal, provincial level, municipal level, districts. And each of them, as you know, has a particular role. And so the task for Ipas and our goal is to make sure that abortion, reproductive rights, contraception, that all of these issues are incorporated into the agenda of these many other organizations who are also necessary. So even if you're a group that's working on water and sanitation, for example, there is a component there that links to sexual and reproductive health and rights. What is it? How can we help you achieve your mission and our mission?
Fair enough. So can I just have a follow-up? Yeah. So, in your experience, what are the challenges for Nepal? You did mention the awareness might be less, but the policies plans actually align with what the global requirements are. Yeah. What are the key challenges for Nepal compared to some of the other countries you have worked on?
So awareness is always an issue, I think, and the thing about making sure that people are aware and know about the law, but also where to get care, is that it's a continuous process and problem. It's never solved, right? Because there are always new people. We have young people that are coming up, and we must constantly educate. So there is a need for constant investment in this area. So that's a big challenge, and it often gets neglected. The other thing I see in Nepal is over-regulation of abortion care. Okay. So while the law is really quite good, there are aspects of the regulatory environment here that are too cumbersome. Abortion is a very safe procedure. It's much safer than being pregnant. And we have technologies and tools that make it very safe. We have medical abortion, abortion with pills. So it's extremely, it can be done. And in fact, women all over the world do abortion care on their own. They require help. I'm not suggesting that is the ideal scenario, but nor is it the ideal scenario for it to be so heavily regulated. So some kind of more expansive approach to abortion care would be good to have. And then I think the other challenge in Nepal, but really elsewhere also, is that we need to have additional investment in this area. Nepal does allocate budget, which is remarkable for this issue, but it's not enough. It needs to be. Not only does the budget need to be allocation need to be increased, but the use of the funds need to be increased as well. So that's a huge challenge, I think. And there are many priorities. I understand how it can be very difficult to prioritize this, but an investment is required. And I say this in the context of Nepal because we know that in Nepal, right now, contraceptive use has sort of stagnated. So what is the best way of preventing deaths and injuries from unsafe abortion? Do not have an unintended pregnancy. It's very simple. In order not to have an unintended pregnancy, you need to make sure that the people who want not to be pregnant can find a way of doing so.
Right. That's very important.
So it's all about making people understand and making people aware about what they want to do about their body and about their vision, no?
Yes, absolutely.
Especially women, right?
Especially women.
Especially women, but I mean,
yeah, the role
men's
of males
also.
there. So.
No, they also need to know what they want to do. No?
Exactly. I mean, men play a hugely important role. I mean, we've seen in our work around the world that even though women are the ones that will have an abortion, it's very often men who are gatekeepers.
Absolutely.
And so we not only need them to be supportive, but we need them to be helpful, to be active participants in reproductive lives, because obviously it takes two, so.
What's the ground reality in Nepal from what you have done multiple studies, I'm sure, about abortion and death related to unsafe abortion? Does it still exist in Nepal?
Oh yes, it does still exist.
What's the situation like?
It does still exist, but it has declined.
Okay.
So that's good news.
And thanks to work by organizations such as yours.
Ipas and others and the government, I think so I mean, I think what we've seen in Nepal is a really, it's a positive story. The maternal mortality ratio has declined over the years. And one of the key aspects of maternal mortality, there are 5 leading causes of maternal deaths, but you have to actually work on all 5 at once in order to decrease overall maternal mortality. You can't pick and choose. And this is the real, I think, health-related challenge with what's happening with the US government. They have decided that they don't want to deal with unsafe abortion. So that's not going to work from an evidence and public health point of view. I mean, we know this. This is not new information. So what we've seen in Nepal is a concerted effort in addressing all of these causes, and what we see is a decline. But it needs to be faster. And there are ways that it can be faster. More investment in the health infrastructure. Acknowledgement of the fact that people don't always go to the health system. And that especially groups that are marginalized, groups like young people who feel very constrained about, particularly on issues like this, aren't going to come to the health system. And then one thing I definitely want to mention is that we started this conversation about, is it challenging?
Yeah.
Are these challenging times? One of the reasons that it's always challenging times is that abortion is so stigmatized.
It is absolutely stigmatized, even among the educated people,
Exactly.
educated families.
Yeah. So that stigma, it applies to individuals, to communities, to providers, to institutions, and it really puts a blanket on everything. So you have to figure out a way of lifting your head and being able to really talk about it and address the stigma.
So yeah, it's because I know you're working on it. Like Mary Stopes, those ones are also here. But the good work has been there. It's evident, like you said, that the mortality rate is coming down. But the stigma you just mentioned, the stigma still exists. I mean, even in this day and time, I mean, not just Nepal, globally, the stigma of abortion, including the USA, it exists. What can be done, for example, in Nepal, to minimize the stigma or to, find ways to, counter the stigma? What are your suggestions on that?
Yeah, so I've thought a lot about stigma and have written quite a lot about it. I think one of the things we must do is talk about it in all kinds of ways, not just in forums like this, but one-on-one. So one of the things that we've noticed that, and there is evidence for, is that interpersonal communication is actually critical. So for women and men, the conversation that happens between a woman and her friend, a woman and her sisters, these are the things that actually change people's minds and hearts. Not actually broadcast, as much broadcast media, but that also has a role. So the more stories we see, the more people that we identify with that have dealt with this issue and have handled it, the more likely we are to think that, oh, this is normal.
That's normal.
This is normal. So that's one thing. We also really need to think about stigma at the policy level.
Okay.
And the U.S. actually that's exactly what they're doing right now, right? The U.S. government is stigmatizing abortion heavily.
Very much so.
Yeah, and in all sorts of ways, but primarily through the power of the purse.
So some of the budget, so the budget is set aside for the work you do. Are you setting aside a bulk of the budget for more communication related to this, or what we now call public engagement, community engagement regarding stigma?
Yes. Yeah, we've been working on stigma for, 10, 15 years already. And working through community partners, working at all levels on this topic. We are, in fact, I was just talking to colleagues about the need for greater communication, so we are allocating additional resources as we can for communications work. For an organization like Ipas, just as for any organization, these are difficult decisions. Our resources are not infinite. We are a relatively modest, as I said, organization. So resources spent on communications takes away resources from another area. So these are the challenging, difficult decisions that everyone has to make, and we weigh them as we can. But absolutely, communications is an extremely important aspect of this, not just for stigma purposes, but for showcasing the work. One of the things that I'm really concerned about and want to emphasize in my role is Ipas's role as a thought partner and as a technical leader. All of our materials that we develop, all of the tools and resources are available online and through our staff. And we welcome people using them. But they have to know about them.
Of course. Breaking?
So, breaking?
We'll take a small break and we'll come back with a few more questions. I know Srijana is ready for another set of questions. A छोटो ब्रेक लियौं ब्रेकपछि हाम्रो अतिथिलाई हामीहरू फिर्ता लिएर आउँछौँ अहिलेलाई एकैछिन
पाइला सपनाको भरोसाले हिँड्छ कठिन भए नि आफ्नो सपना आफ्नै हुन्छ
कथा साहसको आँट कोरिदिन्छ व्यथाको कथा पनि आफ्नै हुन्छ आफ्नै सुन्ने आफैलाई खोज्ने नयाँ युगमा पनि आफ्नो भनेको आफ्नै हुन्छ राष्ट्रिय वाणिज्य ब्याङ्क सम्पूर्ण डिजिटल कारोबारका लागि डिजिटल संसार
This morning live brought to you by
प्याराशुट एडभान्स बेस्ट रोज्नेहरूका लागि प्याराशुट एडभान्स मेरो लागि बेस्ट
associate sponsor
एभरेस्ट ब्याङ्क दिगो दरिलो र विश्वासिलो
पेप्सोडेन्ट एउटा मुस्कानले सबै बदलिन्छ
हजुर दिस मर्निङ लाइभमा फेरि एकचोटि हार्दिक स्वागत गर्न चाहन्छु आज हामी कुराकानी गरिरहेका छौँ डाक्टर अनु कुमारसँग र उहाँसँग कुराकानी गर्ने क्रममा महिलाको स्वास्थ्यको विषयमा त्यस्तै गरी रिप्रोडक्टिभ हेल्थ केयरको विषयमा कुराकानी प्रजनन स्वास्थ्यको विषयमा कुराकानी गरिरहेका छौँ आउनुहोस् फेरि एकचोटि उहाँलाई कुरा गरौँ होला सो वेलकम ब्याक टु द सो वन्स अगेन सो आई वाज जस्ट थिङ्किङ अबाउट दिस थिङ women are there and they are working inside house and outside house, and after this COVID, all people are busy with on their own kind of system and all the stuff. So in between there is mental health also. So does that affect to the woman reproductive system, or could you please explain?
Reproductive rights.
So
how's
can you
mental
please
health
reframe
connected
this?
to- how's the mental health and reproductive health connected? From your experience, or do you work on that area also?
Not as much, to be fair, not as much, but certainly psychosocial support is something that we are.
You do that.
Yeah, we are working on. I think it comes up most in the area of gender-based violence, because of the trauma that women experience through that, and it's quite widespread. In Nepal, nearly 25% of women have experienced violence. I mean, this is a high number. So yes, there are needs for mental health support and for counseling, and that has come up in the services that providers and others are giving. And how do you incorporate that sort of work? But I think the real challenge with mental health is that, at least in our part of the world, it is not something that people take seriously. Emotional and mental health issues are even or just as stigmatized as reproductive health and rights issues. We just don't talk about it. It's not something that is discussed openly.
No, is that affecting reproductive system to the woman and the health?
Fertility.
Yeah, fertility.
No, not really. No, I wouldn't think it affects fertility. I think it affects, emotional and psychological health.
Okay. Just wanted to ask you, because she brought the topic of mental health and counseling, stigma and mental health are so connected, right? I mean, with continuous stigma, the mental health, obviously, there's an effect. When it comes to counseling, how strong is your counseling support? How does Ipas look at counseling as a key component of reproductive health?
It's critical. Absolutely critical.
Including Nepal. Are you focusing on that also?
Well, we focus on it everywhere, yes. Not only because of the health reasons, mental health reasons, but also because we are an organization that believes in bodily autonomy and reproductive justice and choice. And that means that people need to be counseled on what their choices and choices are, and what decisions they wish to make about their own bodies and their own health. And then we support them in whatever choice that they may make. So it's not just about mental health, it's also about making sure that people have the knowledge and information they need to make the best decisions for themselves.
Fair enough. We were earlier in the break, we're talking, although Ipas is very focused on women's reproductive health and rights, which we have been talking about right now, sexual reproductive health and rights, but you also are working in the area of climate change also. Now, how does that connect to reproductive rights? Can you explain to us?
Absolutely, because it's not obvious.
Yeah, it's not obvious.
No, it's not obvious what the connection might be. So the thing is that with climate change, what we're seeing is an increase, of course, in heat and temperature. So especially in South Asia, there are, you know, the temperature has risen significantly.
Kathmandu was an example yesterday?
Yes. I mean, the weather has been lovely, but
but
it's hot. Yes,
unseasonably warm.
Exactly. The snowfall has decreased. Glaciers are melting, etc. So you know we know this, but heat actually has an impact on physiology, particularly for pregnant women. So there's a connection there, and people are looking now at how do we modify services and care for pregnant women in heat emergencies. Also, climate-related disasters are occurring, as you know, and have experienced here and all around the world. So increase in drought, for example, increase in flooding.
Right.
That results in a disruption in health services. So sometimes it means that there's literally the health clinic has been washed away, gone. Providers are no longer there. So what is a person who actually needs contraception or supplies supposed to do? There's nothing there.
Right.
So then that, you know, she's out of luck. She is not able to, you know, resupply her with oral contraception or injectables or whatever method she may be using. So we have a literal disruption of services because of a natural disaster.
Okay.
And then the other thing that's really interesting, and if you think about it a moment, it's obvious, but because of flooding and drought and all of these things, and also because of the gendered roles that people play, women are primarily responsible, and girls, for gathering fuel, for getting water, clean water, and they often have to travel long distances now because of climate change to get those necessary essentials. They then put themselves at greater risk. They are traveling alone, sometimes at dark, to go to these, you know, remote locations to get water or fuel or firewood, and they're more susceptible and vulnerable to violence. And so that is another aspect that we see of within climate change. There are many, many issues. Lack of clean water, which also can occur due to climate-related disasters, can result in greater gynecological infections. Poor menstrual hygiene. There's so many consequences. So as Ipas, what we did is we spent a little bit of time understanding ourselves. What are the connections? Because as you rightly say, we are not climate experts. This is not our field. So we have spent time learning, doing research, reaching out to partners in this area, and then now, particularly in Nepal, we are working with local authorities to develop climate resilience plans. This is a reality. We have to accept climate change is here. It is not change. It's not going to be going away anytime soon, probably not in our lifetimes. What we must do, all of us, in our own way, is adapt. How do we adapt? And these are the things that we are providing ideas for adaptation to local governments, to partners, and to individuals. And so it's a mindset shift in many ways. I think, honestly, places like Nepal and elsewhere are doing really remarkable work on this. Very much understanding, because it's a lived reality, that the adaptation must happen.
Wow. Now we're slowly coming to the end of the show. We have a few more minutes. So what will your plan be? I mean, personal aside, I'm sure you'll travel and look around beautiful country of Nepal if you have time. But what are you going to do? Like, are you going to be meeting some government officials or other stakeholders? You must have some plans.
Yes.
What are those that you can share?
Yeah, definitely. I'll be meeting with partners and government officials, and basically trying to cement further the partnerships that we have in Nepal, and also to really fortify, I think, some of our partners for what's to come in the global environment. We talked earlier about the impact of the U.S.
Yeah.
I think we must also be really cognizant that the anti-rights actors are very powerful and strong, and they're global, and they may well be in Nepal.
Yeah. Okay.
So Nepalis, I think, we need to be vigilant. You need to be aware of what's happening in this country, be proud of the progress that Nepal has made, and also safeguard that progress.
We are trying to save lives, and that's the whole point. I mean, unsafe abortion kills girls.
That's right.
This is one of those
so I think
very
we
important aspects that you're doing, and we have to thank you for that.
No, thank you.
Yeah, obviously, thank you so much for that. So could you please tell us about yourself?
in going, in leaving, ending.
Actually, we are winding down. So
Yeah.
could you please tell us something about yourself?
About how
what would you like to do? What kind of food? What colors?
Well, I do love Indian food and Nepali food, so yes, I'm very happy to be here and have delicious food while I'm here. You know, I came to this work from two ways actually. One is the intellectual challenge, and I'm very interested in all of the topics we've talked about: climate, stigma, health provision, from an intellectual point of view, from a problem-solving point of view. But also personally, as an Indian American woman, I relate to these issues very personally, and so I have a deep passion for the work that Ipas does. And I think it's really, it's been a wonderful experience to be able to combine these two. It's rare when you find a job that actually allows you to use your brain and your heart and at the same time. So yeah, so I hope I can bring some of that energy to Nepal, and also, you know, really work with my colleagues who are doing amazing work here in Nepal, with partners and with, you know, with government officials to really advance this agenda. It's not easy. It's not easy to do this. There's the personal challenges, but then there's also institutional challenges, real resource constraints, and you have to be creative. So that's, you know, that's one of the things I love about this job, is it allows you to be to really use your creativity.
Absolutely, and once again, thank you for doing what you guys, you and the organization is doing. We are obviously watching, and you know, we're very thankful, and it's a very important issue that you are dealing with, you know, and very important, especially for the global female population, to save the female population, basically. So it's very important. Thank you once again for coming to our show.
Thank
you know, Srijana has been very actively engaging your office, you know, and then, you know, having you join us this morning.
Thank you so much for your interest in our work.
Thank you so much for your time and information too.
And also, thank you very much. And in leaving, we, you know, in our show, it's a daily show except for one day, and we talk about different issues. Well, we have a quote of the day every day before we leave, and today's quote, we do go away with the guest, we leave with the guest. He's a footballer. He's a Dutch footballer. He's 40 years old today. Arjen Robben is a very famous footballer, and he has said, there's always so much to improve, no matter your age. Age is no barrier to improvement, is what he said.
That's absolutely true.
So we can keep continuing to do our work wherever we are, whatever age we are in, and whatever status we're in. And thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you so much once again.
Pleasure.
हजुर अब जान्छौँ
जाउँ
हजुर दिस मर्निङ लाइभको समय पनि सकिसकेको छ भोलि फेरि भेटघाट हुने नै छ भने आजको दिन यहाँको रमाइलोसँग बितोस् ह्याभ अ वन्डरफुल डे नमस्कार